There are many types of monsters in this world. Monsters who will not show themselves and who cause trouble. Monsters who abduct children. Monsters who devour dreams. Monsters who suck blood. And monsters who always tell lies. Lying monsters are a real nuisance. They are much more cunning than other monsters. They pose as humans, even though they have no understanding of the human heart. They eat, even though they've never experienced hunger. They study, even though they have no interest in academics. They seek friendship, even though they do not know how to love. If I were to encounter such monsters, I would likely be eaten by it, because in truth, I am that monster. This is The Philosophy of Death Note by Kaweesley. Death Note, a 2006 anime and manga surrounded by philosophy and morality. I won't summarize the series because it is quite dense, so this is a warning for spoilers. Death Note is so memorable in its entire story for its freedom of opinion. It's not explicitly telling you which side is wrong and which side is right. If you had the chance to fulfill justice, how would you go about it? Light Yagami, the main character, has possession of the Death Note, a notebook that kills whoever's name is written inside it. Light thinks that killing off all criminals will harvest a world of justice, which he goes about by writing down the names of publicly shared criminals, and he does this anonymously through the alias of Kira, a soon controversial political icon with large protesters, as well as a large group of supporters. If you have done nothing wrong, then you have nothing to be afraid of. He's cleaning up the world and banishing the wicked while technically being the wicked himself. I like the illusion of controversy within this iconic story that can be applied into our own world. Anti-Kira or Kira supporter? I hosted a poll to my friends I know who watch Death Note, and these were the results. Out of 21 votes total, 62% said they were a Kira supporter, while 38% said they were an anti-Kira, giving the majority to Kira supporters. So, do with that what you wish. Matsuda, one of the characters in the police force at one point says, "Do you guys ever think that maybe Kira isn't completely evil? I think that Kira is trying to fight evil and change the world in his own way, and well, the world will become a good place for people who live honest lives." That statement was frowned upon from his colleagues for suggesting that perhaps Kira isn't so bad. Of course, in theory, a world absent of evil sounds good, but is it a realistic world? And do the ends justify the means? By the end of the story, and later discussed in large in Death Note short stories, which has hit the stores like last month, so go read, they reveal that Kira ultimately decreased crime rates by 70% and ended wars. So are the cruel murders justified? They did overall reduce death, somewhat. Regardless of the outcome, murder is murder, and killing thousands of people will not set a good example if your goal is to have a crime-free world. Eradicating the immoral by immoral means will only make you immoral. Ironic. Kira, like Yagami, is very egotistical and adopts the god complex quite early on. His intention is to be recognized by the public and inflict the fear and awareness that there is a decider above them, the god of a new world, a worshipped being, a judge of death and life. He believes he deserves it, and he and only he can carry out such a plan efficiently and methodically, especially seen in one of the final scenes.
Only I could do it. Who else could have done it? And come this far? Would they have kept going?
Yeah. Light gives himself the authority of judgment, judging who gets to live and who gets to die, based on basic moral beliefs of this is right and this is wrong. He plays God in a fanatic way. Criminals get charged, get sentenced. He's not helping that system whatsoever. One could argue he's troubling it, creating a normality that any person who commits a crime to the extent of public recognition deserves death. Kira killed criminals without the mention of redemption. Can we redeem criminals? Aren't prisons supposed to be a form of rehabilitation to better the person? Does every criminal really deserve death? Mikami, Kira's later assistant, or hitman, does not believe in such redemption and sees crime or injustice as black and white. Mikami goes on to punish former criminals even if they've long retired from their ways. Power can really corrupt people, as is noticeable in the contrast between pre-Death Note Light and post-Death Note Light. Once a nice, smart high school boy, turned into a maniacal, murderous machine. You can have good intentions, but good intentions mixed with dangerous power can rot those intentions. especially seeing as Kira virtually kills everyone who gets in his way, even if they are not criminals, which explains his murder. So if your justice delivering God murders the innocent as a side job, is justice still being delivered? Which provides the connection of, if Kira punishes people who murder, doesn't Kira deserve the same punishment? He kills people, so doesn't that grant him the same fate? Logic echoes without being really heard here, and it is clear that reason was slowly moved out of the picture. If he was really for justice and justice only, the god complex and his obsession with being worshipped would have never entered the picture, or at least to the extent it did. Light had radical views and ended up killing like half the cast. So what makes a world just? What makes a just world? Laws aren't perfect because humans who created laws aren't perfect. It's impossible to be perfect. However, the laws are evidence of the human struggle to be righteous. If Kira supposedly killed every single criminal in existence, would the world finally find peace? What about future generations of children growing up and resorting to some sort of rebellion? To rid the world of any sort of crime is to not allow the accordance of rebellion, and lacks the ability to protest, because once the power finds success, it will carry on and become an extremist power. If Light had won and played the role of God for his life, he would find himself being a dictator in the control box of society, changing the rules of what offenses merit death. If Kira gets caught, he is evil. If Kira rules the world, he is justice. Wanderer's quotes to boost the questions of today. Is Kira justice? Leave your opinions in the comments. Thank you for watching, and please consider subscribing for more awesome free content. Bye!